I'm Wade Carmichael, and I teach arts and some histories at the Town of Apex Community Center with Town of Apex Parks, Recreation, and Culturals programs. And I hope this little exercise for basic drawing is useful. Today I want to just show an example of one of the exercises I often ask my students to do in the drawing classes. This applies to graphite and just about any dry media, if you think about it. And it is an exercise in developing an image with using values created through the treatment of the pencil. Most common way people draw is with a line. You draw a line to define the object, and then some people like to shade in to give it a sense of dimension. If you want the line to remain part of the image, similar to the way that coloring books are hard outlines and then you fill in the blanks, this is another method which allows us to use the pencil and just very lightly draw value away from your initial line. And I call this shading or feathering. And part of the challenge is to do this with ever lighter strokes to where you come out to where you can't really tell where the pencil ends and it's the paper. Now I can come back and I can give it a little more depth on the edge itself, and I can bring this transition out, this feathering out. And I'm really just using very light pressure and gradually darkening the value. And if I then wish to reverse this effect, I could come over here and I could do the same exercise, only this time I want to go in toward the previous. And depending on how I consciously handle the pencil, I can have the pencil strokes very visible, or I can have it almost invisible in the sense of just being a tonal shift in the paper. So here I have two lines, and I've already begun to imply that this could be a rendering of something that has dimension to it. And I have many options that I can play with. If I come up this way and then I connect these two lines, and then I do the same process of gradually feathering, connect them up here. And I want to do this at this end of the object. And again, feather it. In this case, because of the way that the object is defined, these would be called feathering in or shading in. Through this process, we've created an image that appears to be perhaps a hole in the paper. And it's a challenge. And it's an interesting way to work with the grayscale or the shading challenge. where you create things. Another method of playing with this is to perhaps create an irregular line, maybe even an amoebic shape. And using the same technique, I want to just go along this edge, and I'm feathering in. And as I do this, I'm eliminating the line as the definition of the object, and now it's more the shading form of the object that is defining it. An odd little peanut, perhaps. So this looks like it could be just another hole similar to the square, although I want to try something different this time. As I bring this shading around to this arc, I'm going to go on the opposite side of the line now, and I want to shade out. And I don't want to go as far out as I did into the inside, because all I want to do now is define this line, turn it into, rather than a line, it's just the top edge of this peanut, this odd peanut that we're creating. And if I want to add some more character to this rendering, I could actually have it come in, darken this in, and I've created the illusion of an opening. And I can play with this also by going in a little deeper. So there are two little exercises that you can do with a pencil. This is a very basic number 2 pencil. With practice, you can get a more and more smooth transition appearance. And you can deepen the effects. I can come in here and then create a deeper sense of what I'll call the waist of this particular shape. So that's a simple exercise, and you can do this with a scrap of paper of any type. It's not important to work with fine art paper. But as you get a more of a touch with your pencil and your hand, you'll find that you'll want to work with much more precise tools and or materials. But even a common pencil and just a piece of scrap paper can be a wonderful work practice tool for the budding artist or for the professional. Never hurts to revisit old processes. That's it. I hope you enjoy and give yourself a little doodle time. Bye.